Thank you for being here today. What I'm about to share with you is personal, and I share it intentionally because I believe our stories, when offered with care and purpose, can become powerful instruments of connection and learning. This presentation is called Both Sides of Healing because that's exactly where I've lived, as the one who holds the space for others and as the one who desperately needed someone to hold it for me. I came into this work as a counselor and educator. I didn't expect that one day my own experience as a survivor would reshape how I show up to work. But that's where life took me. And what I discovered on that other side changed everything about how I practice, how I teach, and how I understand what healing really means. I hope something in what I share today resonates with your own story. Where did I can't tell if it changed it or not. Yeah, okay, thank you. So before we go further, let me introduce myself, not just through credentials, but through the fullness of who I am in this room today. I am a licensed professional counselor specializing in trauma-informed care and clinical supervision. I maintain a private practice where I work with clients navigating a broad range of life challenges and general mental health conditions. I am an associate professor, which means I spend my days training the next generation of counselors, shaping not just their skills, but their professional identities. And I am a breast cancer survivor, navigating treatment, recovery, and ongoing health management, even as I stand here. Each of these roles carries its own demands, its own rewards, and its own wisdom. What I've learned is that they don't exist in separate compartments. They bleed into each other in ways I never anticipated, often in ways that have made me better at all three. These roles intersect in profound ways, and that intersection is what I want to talk about today. Did it change? There we go. Okay, I think you have to do the double whammy or something with it. When I received my diagnosis, I had years of professional training and clinical experience to draw upon. I understood grief. I understood trauma responses. I had sat with countless clients in their darkest moments, and none of that, not one bit of it, shielded me from the full emotional weight of hearing those words, "It is cancer." I felt shock and disbelief, even though intellectually I knew exactly what was happening. I felt fear of mortality in a way that was no longer abstract. It was personal and immediate. I felt a profound loss of control over my own body and my future. And perhaps most disorienting for someone whose identity is built around helping others, I felt the identity shift from helper to patient. What my training did give me was a framework. I could name what I was experiencing. I could recognize my own defense mechanisms at work. I knew in theory how to seek support. But I had to make a conscious choice to apply those tools to myself with the same compassion I would offer a client. Professional training doesn't shield us from the human experience, but it does deepen our understanding of it. Whoops. How many did it go? I need to go back one. There we go. All right. My glasses are for close up. I can't see far away to see what's out there, so, reached that age. So treatment is a season, and like any season, it asks something of you every single day. Physically, I was managing radiation, side effects, fatigue, a consistent medication regime, including letrozole, exemestane, diclofenac, gabapentin, Cymbalta, and the steady rhythm of appointments that become their own kind of full-time job. Emotionally, I was learning to process acceptance of choices and uncertainty, real uncertainty about my body, my future, my capacity, while still maintaining hope in daily functioning. Professionally, I continued to teach and supervise, not because I had no choice, but because my work is part of what sustains me. I had to learn where the line was between what nourished me and what depleted me. And then there was support, learning to receive care after years of providing it. This was perhaps the hardest part of the entire experience. If you are a helper by nature and by profession, being cared for can feel foreign and even uncomfortable. Learning to receive gracefully, to let people show up for you, is its own profound kind of healing. Treatment is not just medical, it's a holistic journey requiring the integration of mind, body, and spirit. Make sure it's on the right one. Yep, there we go. There were two lessons in particular that crystallized for me, moments where what I had always taught met what I was now living, and the collision changed both. The first is about vulnerability. As a counselor, I have always taught the importance of authentic presence, of showing up real, of not hiding behind professional distance. As a survivor, I learned that true vulnerability requires a courage I had only ever observed in my clients. I had never fully lived it myself until cancer asked it of me. The second is about resilience. I have always framed resilience as an active process, something you do, not something you have. Living through treatment confirmed this in every possible way. Resilience is rebuilt daily through small, intentional choices. Taking the medication, getting out of bed, making the phone call, asking for what you need. These are not small acts. They are the substance of resilience itself. Theory and lived experience are both essential teachers, and sometimes experience is the most honest one. My experience as a cancer survivor has genuinely transformed how I work with trauma survivors, not because my story is the same as theirs, but because I now understand viscerally what it means to carry something invisible through the demands of everyday life. I understand the exhaustion of maintaining normalcy while your world has fundamentally changed. There were days I taught a full class, supervised a session, answered emails, and then sat in my car afterward, completely spent because no one could see what I was holding. I understand the isolation of invisible struggles, what it feels like to be asked, "How are you?" and say, "Fine," when you are anything but. I understand the grief of losing your before self and having to learn to embrace who you are becoming. And I understand deeply the courage it takes to ask for help when you've built your identity around being the strong one. I have been teaching these concepts for years. Now I know them in my body. That shift from knowing to embodying has made me more present, more patient, and more genuine as a clinician. I have learned that shared humanity is the bridge for authentic therapeutic connection. My students are always watching. They learn as much from who I am as from what I teach, and that is both a responsibility and an opportunity. What I emphasize now, more than ever before, is that self-care is not optional. It is not a reward for finishing your to-do list first. It is the ethical foundation of sustainable practice. I let students know that their healing journey, whatever it is, will inform their clinical work in ways they cannot fully anticipate. I am also more intentional now about the gift of shared experience. When I disclose pieces of my own journey to students, thoughtfully, with appropriate boundaries, something shifts in the room. Authenticity creates permission. When they see I have struggled and kept going, they begin to believe that they can too. And I teach boundaries with compassion, with far more credibility now, because I have had to learn to live with that myself. We can hold space for others' pain while fully honoring our own limits. That is not selfishness. That is what makes helping sustainable over the long arc of a career. My students need to see that modeled, not just explained. No one chooses cancer. But I was genuinely surprised by what arrived alongside it, gifts I would not have chosen, but also would not trade. My priorities became clearer and sharper. Morning reading time, evening chorus practice, moments with my dogs, precious family time. These are not luxuries anymore. They are what make everything else possible, and I protect them accordingly. My presence deepened in ways I didn't anticipate. When you have faced mortality, the mundane becomes meaningful. Every student interaction carries more weight. Every client session holds more grace. I stopped taking ordinary moments for granted. I also became more authentic. I stopped performing the parts of my professional identity that were more about appearance than substance. And I'm more genuinely myself in the classroom and the counseling session than I have ever been. And my students and my clients feel the difference. And I developed what I now call intentional hope. Not naive optimism, not pretending things are fine when they aren't, but a daily, deliberate choice to find meaning and continue growing even in the midst of real difficulty. Crisis can catalyze profound transformation when we allow it to teach us. I want to be specific here because I think we often speak about self-care in generalities that don't actually help anyone know what to do. So let me tell you what mine looks like. I wake typically around 6 a.m. and I spend 1 hour reading before I shift into any professional role, before email, before students, before responsibilities. That time is protected because it grounds me for everything that follows. Thursday evenings, I sing with Tulsa Metro Sound, a barbershop chorus. This is not incidental to my well-being. It is central to it. Music is where I go to be fully present in a completely different way, and it refills something that work cannot. For health management, I maintain a consistent medication schedule, attend regular checkups, exercise regularly, and perhaps most importantly, honor my physical limits rather than fighting them. My body is doing significant work, and I try to work with it, not against it. And I maintain an 8 to 9 p.m. bedtime as a genuine boundary I protect. Rest is when the body heals. I take that seriously now in ways I didn't before. Structure and ritual create the container for sustainable helping. Self-care is the oxygen mask we put on first so we can help others breathe. If you are in the helping professions, counselor, a supervisor, an educator, a social worker, a nurse, a physician, a cancer survivor leader, a medical assistant, a peer support specialist, or a volunteer, this slide is for you. These are the things I most want you to hear and to take with you. You don't have to have all the answers. Your willingness to sit in uncertainty along someone, that presence is the work. Your patients or clients don't need you to be omniscient. They need you to be there. Your own struggles don't disqualify you. When we do the work of integrating our pain and making meaning from it, our experiences become one of the greatest assets, not despite what we've been through, but because of it. It's okay to be both the wounded healer and the healing wounded. We contain multitudes, and that is not a contradiction. Seek your own counseling. We cannot ethically ask of our clients or patients what we are unwilling to do ourselves, and honor your limits. Burnout is not a badge of dedication. It is a signal that something has gone wrong, and it serves no one, not you, not your clients, not your patients, not to the profession. The helping professions need whole people, not perfect people, whole ones. Cancer changed my life, but it did not define it. I am more than my diagnosis, and I carry that truth into the room with every client and every student because they need to hear it too. They are more than their diagnoses, their traumas, their worst chapters. Moving forward for me looks like this. I'm developing NSU's Community Counseling Center to expand access to care for people who would otherwise have no pathway to support. I'm advancing anti-human trafficking initiatives and survivor support services, work that is both personally and professionally meaningful to me. I'm training counselors who I hope will carry both clinical competence and genuine compassion into every session. And I'm continuing my own healing, not from a place of arrival, but from a place of commitment to the ongoing process. I don't stand here as someone who has figured it all out. I stand here as someone still becoming. We are all continuously becoming, healing and helping, learning and teaching, surviving and thriving, often all at the same time. Being both a survivor and a counselor isn't a duality I need to reconcile. It is a synthesis, and that synthesis has made me more present, more grounded, and more genuinely useful to the people I serve. What I hope you take from today is not just my story, but a renewed permission to honor yours. Whatever you've lived through, whatever you're carrying right now, it has value. It is not separate from your personal or professional self. It is a part of it. When we integrate our experiences with courage and intention, we become the kind of helpers the world actually needs. So may we all find strength in our stories and the courage to share them when the time is right. Thank you.